Okay, welcome everyone, all you amazing leaders. I just wanted to welcome you to our second Leaders Luncheon. So today, make sure to tag right now all of your director or director friends and let them join on. We are here doing these to help you guys. So please take advantage of them. Let your directors, your leaders know about these. Today, we have some amazing superstar director panels. Also, we do have some of us watching the chat. So if you guys have questions, make sure to type them in the chat. We have a couple of us watching that chat. So ask your questions there. Please keep yourself muted so we can all hear whoever's presenting and talking so it doesn't get out of control. So Aspen will be doing our moderating again, and our topic is onboarding. Okay, and I wanted to let you know these superstar directors are going to share some amazing ideas, emails, images, and we will post those in our Summer Sizzle headquarters. So if you do want to see those, go back there. And we're excited to get started. So Aspen, go ahead and take over.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited this week because I know we had a huge number of people join us last month. And as leaders, sometimes it's a bit overwhelming. And I always say, I hope you're overwhelmed because that means that things are crazy growing, right? So being overwhelmed is not a bad thing, but having a system and taking care of what's going on is how you become a better leader. So we're here to give you some short, replicable, doable tips that you at any level of leadership, even if you just became a brand new director or you've been a director for 10 plus years, you can say, hey, you know what? I can take on that system if you don't already have a system in that area. So these calls aren't meant to overwhelm you, not meant to make you add 10 more things to your list, but to give you ways to take care of what you have. Take care of this. The awesome to go over today. We have launching, connecting, basics, goals, and then just giving them ways to work. So those are the 5 topics we're going to cover today. And as Sarah mentioned, the chat box is going. I think Eileen said she's monitoring, as well as Sarah will be monitoring that. And we have Karen too. So always so much help. If you have questions, put them in there and we'll have time at the end, hopefully, to get to some of those questions if you guys have them. So I will let each panelist just do a short intro as we ask questions and get to them. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and get started. So I really want to start off with talking about launching your business or helping team members launch their business and what you do as a leader to say, okay, I'm not going to overwhelm you, but here's this beginning of the tools that you need to actually launch your business. So I'm going to go to, let me go to Carolyn first and share with us, just Carolyn, go ahead and unmute yourself, but share with us what you do right from the start. Tell us a little bit about your email that you're going to share. First, tell us your story a little bit, and just tell us some basic tools for someone that says, I have new team members and I don't know what to do.
Okay, I'm Carolyn Page, and Gary and I do our business together. We joined in October of 2007, and I got my stats from Laurie Willis this morning because I couldn't find them. So we became directors in April of 2008, star directors in October of 2008, and superstar directors in November of 2009. So we live in Murray, Kentucky. We were the first consultants in Kentucky, so everybody kind of laughed at us when we got started there. But we new team members, I do send out an email to make a list of questions for us, encourage them to do a launch party. I also invite them to our team and group Facebook page, and also we have it's called Scintillating Swap page, where I encourage them just to swap product. And I don't try to get them added to that right at the beginning because that's a little overwhelming, something they don't even need to be thinking about. But we do tell them that once they join our team, we let them know in that email that if they sell 1,000 in their first 30 days, that we have an incentive for them. We'll give them a set of testers. And I've actually had 2 or 3 new team members in the last, since the beginning of May, and that have earned that, and they had said they wanted to wait until they got the fall and winter. So we'll just wait and do that. I gave them the option. Would it help you to be able to do that now with basket parties, or do you want to wait? And so they wanted to wait. But anyway, that email goes out immediately that day because I go in and check the performance tab every day. I use all that. And Jason actually went over the reports that I used. He went over that today on the leadership call. But I check that performance tab every day. You can invert the join date on it. And so I go and I start there, and I go back and I pick up group members and team members, and according to where they land, that's the email that we send out to them.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's so much good stuff. I know the one other thing that we're thinking about, and I'm going to go to you next, Andrea, if you want to go ahead and unmute, is Shooting Star. And Andrea, we talked a little bit yesterday, and she was sharing with us how important Shooting Star is to her and her group. And when she gets people launched, that's one of the big things that she focuses on. So Andrea, will you tell us a little bit about how after the basics, when you're introducing a new consultant in your team, what do you do to get them to Shooting Star? And what kind of tools are you giving them? How are you helping them or introducing that idea?
Great, thank you. I'm Andrea Conley, and I joined Cincy in 2009. And I joined about like we are right now, where it was booming, and I directed in less than 9 months. And then Star Director 4 years later, and then Superstar Director a year after that. So it was great to be in this particular situation again, where we're just adding people like crazy and people are promoting and all these great things. So Shooting Star is so important to me because it gets you halfway to that certified. And I always, when I get a new team member, I don't try to overwhelm them with everything. I show them where the training tab is, and we talk about #1 Shooting Star. If it's not a flip, where they probably made Shooting Star, if they joined on taking a party and flipping it, then we talk about how to get that other 500 PRV to certify, where they get that extra 5%. Some consultants join and don't realize that they can immediately start making more money. I mean, so 500 PRV is very important to them. And then when they get the Shooting Star and they get certified, they have enough to buy that kit and commissions. So that first 30 days mindset is Shooting Star between the 1st and the 15th, and another 500 between the 15th and the 30th. And I think the best way you can do that is your launch party. Very, very important. Accessing them to that list of top 100s that we have a great training on about that. Also, just any other way that they can capture immediate customers. So, depending on the area you're in, the state you're in, the city you're in, it could be a neighborhood walkthrough to say there's a Cincy consultant in your neighborhood now.
Yeah, those are great ideas.
So those are the things.
Awesome. So I know that kind of leads us into goals, but before we hit goals, another important thing I think as we launch consultants into this business is not just handing them a toolbox, but helping them make a connection. Because for most of us as leaders, we know that when it comes to the tools are great, but the very best thing we have is each other, obviously. So it's making that connection. So we can sign up 100 people, but if we don't connect with them, I think that's where we miss out. And so I want to talk to you, Kelly, about connection and just figuring out why they're doing what they're doing, how you're connecting with them, and how you're pulling them in and making them feel not just here's your tools, but let's be a team and let's be together in Cincy.
Yes, so I'm Kelly Cano. I joined also in 09, kind of the same time as Andrea did. I don't remember when. I know I promoted to director pretty quickly within 6 months, and then star director. I was a star director for quite some time, and then I've been superstar director 2.5 years now. So I've kind of done things a little bit differently the last couple of months that we've been staying home, and I've been doing a lot of pre-launch parties, I guess, where we do flip it, and so I've kind of tried to build that connection with them before they even join. I really help them to discover why they're doing this, either whether it's before, during the pre-launch party, or after they've already joined. But I really try to figure out the meat of what it is. And a lot of times when they join, it's just because, well, I just needed extra money. Well, I try to dig deeper than just, okay, I need extra money, but for what? I want them to be able to pay something with it so that they can feel that gratification when they do earn that commission check. So yeah, $600 is fantastic, or $200 is fantastic, but what are you going to do with that $200? Because when times get tough and you start running out of customers, I want them to be remembering why they joined this. So are you wanting to pay a cell phone bill? Are you wanting to help your daughter get through dance classes? What exactly do you want that money for? And I've actually found in the last few months, people are joining not necessarily because of the money, but because of the connection. So I am not a huge social media fan. I try, I'm really struggling with that, but I'm trying to get there. But I love the one-on-one connection. I love the home party. I love the phone calls. I love that type of a thing. So I do a lot through Marco Polo to try to just get them to connect right away and to connect with other team members, because we have teams spread out all over. So all of our stuff is Zoom. It's not, team meetings are not as practical because I don't have a lot of local team. We are everywhere. And so just really getting them connected and all the feels from the very beginning into our team. And then it just helps. I feel like everybody feeds off of each other. So really getting their why from the very beginning is crucial.
Yeah, I know. I mean, excitement is obviously contagious. That's part of the reason we're here. Tell us, when I think about finding out or getting a new team member, even if it's somebody that signed up random or somebody I've been talking to about, if I want to find out why they're doing what they're doing, give us a couple ideas on what you do to ask, because that feels like an awkward thing to me. Like, am I going to be like, just text them and say, hey, why are you doing this? Or what do you say and how do you do it? Is it an email? Is it a text? Is it a Zoom? What do you say and what do you do real quick?
Yeah, I always do text because, again, I've emailed for me is, I mean, I do send emails occasionally, but text for me works really, really good. And I always just ask them if there's a time that they can talk in the next couple of days. And I really try to get them on the phone, because text sometimes can be impersonal as well. So when I get them on the phone, then I just tell them, I said, hey, so let's just talk about one that just joined randomly or I don't really know very well. I will ask them, I'll say, obviously you joined because you love the products. And then they start telling me about how long they've been buying Scentsy and about their kind of backstory about how they found the company. And then I ask them, okay, well, so why did you join? What was your main reason for wanting to just start a business? And then we just kind of build from there. And I don't find that it's very awkward when you're on the phone. When it's in a text and it's impersonal, I do kind of feel like it can be. And I also have a hard time getting them on a Zoom call if I haven't already made that connection, because they feel very insecure. They don't feel like they belong yet, right? So I try to really build that connection with everybody from the beginning. And there's some that just don't want it, and that's fine too. And that's where I had to learn the hard way, is not focus so much time on those that don't want it and kind of really focus on those that do want it.
Right, absolutely. That's super smart. Well, and I mean, we learn too over time, there may be somebody that starts, and if we keep sending and keep reaching and keep trying to connect, it may be even a year, all of a sudden they're like, hey, now it's my time, that happens all the time. So that's another thing we have to remember with new recruits who are maybe a little standoffish. So one of the other topics that I talked about was basics. And Caroline, I'm going to go to you next. If you can just share with us some of your favorite resources. So when it comes to new team members and say, how do I do a party? How do I get on my workstation? How do I give us like just a few of your favorite resources that you're giving brand new people to get them started without overwhelming them?
Okay, y'all can hear me okay, right?
Yep.
What I do in our email, I let them know to call me, But I also reach out to them again, okay? Especially if they're our recruit, not just a team member, but our recruit. I tell them I want to go over their workstation with them. I know that everything's been revamped and they should be able to walk their way through it and all that stuff, but I still go over it with them. I tell them that, number one, I explain to them the difference between the website, their personal website, and their workstation. I can't tell you how many people log in to do their orders on their website. And it's like, no, 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 we got to do this. Also, I tell them to look at that first things first checklist that Cincy gives us. Use their consultant startup guide. And if it's not in the kit, I direct them to where to go to find it in the workstation. But I'll let them know that there's so much for them to use in the workstation. I tell them to go ahead and set up, and I do it with them. We'll set up an online shoppers party for them so they've got something open for people that go to their website, and I walk them through how to do that. And the main thing, because I don't want to take up too much time, is I tell them before you turn in your order, before you close it out and turn it in, call me. I want to log in and look and make sure you've done everything. Everybody's got the best bang for their buck. And the most important thing is that they took all of their host rewards, especially the perpetual party reward, because
Absolutely.
a lot of them don't even know that's there. And then also I tell them, share that $59 kit that's attached. And we get to that eventually. I don't hit them with all of this right at the, in one, like I'm throwing it up here. But, I let them know, now you can offer this to any of your guests at this party or anybody else. Add them as a guest. So.
Yeah, no, that's great. I think that's good stuff. And another thing I've noticed too with new team members, I always encourage them, get on the workstation and start clicking around.
Yep.
So many people will sign up and say, I'm scared, I don't want to mess it up. And I'm like, no. I'm like, make a fake party. Do it like, as long as you're not paying for anything, you're not buying anything. So, the workstation is something that we can click to learn. And so that's a lot of times how I recognize my next leaders, because they've already clicked. Because they're not waiting to be told, they're already clicking. I spent 3 hours on my workstation. I'm like, whoa, you're next.
And they already have their website set up.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, they don't need me.
Absolutely. Well, that's how we know our go-getters right off the bat.
That's
so
right.
That leads us to goal setting. And I'm going to circle back around to you, Andrea, and just talk to us about how you get new team members to set goals right away. And I know goals, sometimes we hear that word and we're like, oh, set a goal, or our leaders pushing us to set a goal. So how do you talk to them about creating what's next for them without pushing them away, but then giving them ways to get there too?
I think one of the most important things is kind of like what Kelly and Carolyn hit upon, is when you're talking to them is to find out what the reason is. Why do they want to make money? Because you can't set a goal for someone to be a director or a goal for someone to make $1,000 a month if they only want to be a hobbyist, So you need to know, first of all, before you talk to them about goals, what their why is. Why do they want to do this? I think it's so important, though, to set goals, because as we all know as leaders, you can't do anything without a goal. That's where it starts, is what do you think? What do you want? Because you're not going to work towards that goal if you don't know what that goal is. So the first thing I go through is maybe a goal board. And that goes back to our basics that we all kind of did is make a goal board. And it may just be a piece of paper with words written down on it. It doesn't have to be pictures and all that. But if it is, find a place that you see it every day. I know when we first started, I put on there the word director. I put on there a new car. I put on there that I wanted a free vacation to Bermuda or wherever. So those goal boards are really important, because then also you have something to talk to them about. And plus they feel, I think, connected immediately, because it's not what you want, it's what they want. And they feel that feeling if you set those goals with them of, wow, this is a community, this is a team. So that goal board, I think, is the first thing that I do. The second thing is I try to get them involved in something immediately to reach those goals. So that would be one of the things I do is not only their lunch party and their top 100 list and that sort of thing, is I try to find a small fundraiser that they can actually be a part of. And I help them try to find that. Maybe it's a daycare for a Scent Circle fundraiser or a car bar fundraiser. It doesn't have to be a school with 700 packets to start out with, but that immediately gives them a feel of product, a feel of gaining customers, a feel of accomplishment. So I think that's a real important goal to set when you're setting your goal board is number one, what the PRV is. If you've been a consultant and you need to be refreshed, I think one of the things is beat your PRV always from the month before, from the year before. So a lot of our consultants this year are doing so well because we're saying, go back and look what you did last June. And they're like, wow, I'm way ahead of that. I'm going to push further, you know. And then in July, get them to beat June's PRV. And I think that's made a huge difference in goals.
Absolutely. No, I think that's great. And I mean, we always say, okay, we want a new consultant to work their business or to set a goal. And we say, okay, set your goal 500, 2,000, whatever your PRV is. But it's, I think, giving them how to get there. Because as a new consultant, if you'd never known Scentsy before, somebody gives you a catalog and says, sell this much, you're really at a loss as to what's next. So showing them that, okay, maybe they're not a home party person like Kelly is. Maybe they're not a fundraiser person like Andrea is. You know, maybe they need to do basket parties. Maybe they're going to do Facebook Live parties. Letting them know that this business is whatever they want it to be, I think, can be crazy important when it comes to goals. So I did want to circle back really quick to resources. And anybody, I'm going to open just to the panel really quick here. Do you guys have any resources, like workstation wise, or that you send that we're going to be sharing with you guys later that we didn't discuss that you want to share real quick?
I just like Andrea had talked about, I really utilize the workstation a lot because I want it to be duplicatable. I don't want it to be so complicated where my newest consultant can't recruit anybody because they don't have all the same resources. So I try to keep it very minimal, very simple, stick to the basics, because a lot of times when they are joining, like you mentioned, Aspen, they don't know how to sell or what to do. And so I really utilize I tell them there's many ways that you can go and do a party. You can do a basket party, a fundraiser. There's a ton of resources. So click party in the search button and then watch a video. That's really what I try to tell them. And I'm really trying to work with all of my team to do the same. So that way, when they recruit somebody, it doesn't have to be this complicated system, that it's just very easy. And there's a sponsor checklist that I use right from the workstation. There's, I think it was Carolyn that mentioned, or somebody mentioned about the first things first checklist. I have this printed out and I keep it right here at my desk because I use that almost daily with my new people. So I feel like the workstation has really been improved lately, and it needs some love. And if you use that search, you can find some great resources. And I try to teach them from the very beginning to utilize that and to go search the workstation first for any questions that they have.
Right. No, that's great. And I think we have all of these tools. All of us leaders do, all of our teams do. I mean, we've got a ton of tools right at our fingertips. And I think the bridge that we have to gap as leaders is getting our team members to use those tools. And if we can start that as new consultants, I feel like as they grow in their business, they're more apt to use it as they grow. They're more apt to use it as leaders, and they're more apt to recommend. I mean, we've got a video on how to enter a party. So when we're overwhelmed, we have to remember that we have these resources as leaders where we can send a link and say, hey, watch this video, ask me questions. You know, if we don't have the time to walk them through it personally. So we have a couple extra minutes. Do you guys have anything else that you want to add? And then we can shoot over to questions if we have Eileen or Sarah or anybody, if there's any questions on there. Carolyn, I know you had unmuted before. Did you have a resource that you wanted to add? No? Okay.
I do one other quick thing that it's not
Yeah.
necessarily a resource, but it has really been helping a lot. And some of my leaders are like, why didn't I think about that before? Is I've been doing their launch party and everything before they even join. They express an interest. I tell them, even if they purchase the $99 kit, I still try to get that party done before. I have them create a page, and they invite all of their friends, their family, all of that ahead of time. And I do it on a page. I don't do it as an event. And then we go live, or whatever form of party they want to do on that page. After they've joined, then we turn that page into their VIP page, and it's already made. And it has been, the last 5 people that we've done that, has just been, their businesses are thriving more than any other that we have recently.
That's awesome. And I think what that does is creates that connection we were talking about, because you're connecting them to you, but you're also connecting them, like you're giving them a handful of customers that are going to be there for them on their page already. And so, I mean, that's gold right there. Anytime we can say we're handing you the package. That's why when we have the Earn a Kit option it's such an amazing thing, because you're literally handing them a business with customers already. And so as leaders, I think we need to let our teams know, like, the value in this isn't just that you're giving them a cheaper kit or a free kit or whatever the case may be, but you're handing them a start, a launch. And so much in that. So Andrea, I didn't hear anything else from you. Did you have anything else that you'd like to add, a resource or workstation or anything else wise that we skipped over?
No, I think that's great, because the VIP page is so important that they have it and they understand what it is. So Kelly, that's a great way to do it. That's perfect.
Awesome. I know, I think we got crickets in the chat. Do we have any questions at all?
No questions.
No questions. We must have either been really thorough or really boring and everybody left. I'm not sure which, but hopefully you guys had 1 or 2 takeaways. And like I said earlier, don't ever I know when we come together as leaders, especially a panel of 3, you can take away 100 ideas. And that's the one thing I learned when I started going to leadership events or even Zooms like this, is like, I'll be like, oh, I want to do that. Oh, I'm going to do that. And that's awesome too. And then I overwhelm myself with all the new things. So look at your business as a leader, or how you're onboarding team members, and take away the pieces that you need. So if you're already full, don't add more to your plate. And that's something that we all do with business and life. Like if your plate is full, set it on the side for later. You can have leftovers, that's okay. So make sure that you're taking in the ideas, but not overwhelming yourself. And with business the way that it is, congratulations on an amazing May. And even last week was crazy for us as a group. And so I hope it was for yours too. But if there are new questions, the topic next week, do we know? Karen's asking. Okay, so yeah, you guys, we need ideas. So if there's stuff that you want to hear from us, let us know, and make sure and tag your leaders here. If there's no questions, I think we can wrap up for today. If you guys think of something later, let us know. Also, we're going to be adding some welcome emails that we send out as leaders. If you guys have one you send out, we want to see those too, because the more people that share, the more resources we have, obviously. So thank you so much. Go ahead. What?
I think there was a question about the VIP page.
Okay,
yes,
go ahead.
So that question was, do you set up the VIP page in additional to your fan page? So I do have a business page and I have a VIP page, both. And I don't necessarily encourage new consultants. I don't want to overwhelm them. I feel like at the beginning there's a lot of information, and some get overwhelmed easily and then just throw in the towel. So I just really try to focus on their VIP page first, because that's where we started, and then they can grow from there.
And I think what that provides sometimes too is just having it makes it where you have a business place. So you have a workplace rather than your personal timeline becoming nothing but Cincy, where people say, whoa, so you can say things like, come see what I'm doing, or come check this out. And then people will follow rather than be overwhelmed in your personal page. Was there any other questions? No? Okay. Thank you so much to our panel. You guys were awesome, and for sharing all the things. I can't wait to talk to you guys next week. We will figure out a topic. And like Karen said, if you guys have ideas, we'd love to hear what you want to hear from us. And we'll have a brand new panel again next week. So thank you everyone for getting on. I think it will be recording if all works out as planned, fingers crossed. But we'll see you guys all next week.